Good afternoon, ma'am. Ma'am. So in one of your quotes, you had said that you don't have a syllabus in life, you don't have a question paper, right? Miss, you had said in one of your quotes.
No, I didn't get. Come again.
One doesn't have a syllabus in life nor a question paper. Miss, but how don't you have a model answer paper, Miss? Because the experiences that you learn from others, doesn't that become a model answer?
In life, there is no perfect answer. See, in college and school, you have syllabus. Okay, between this and this chapter, if you read, you know how to answer. And you know examination dates also. After you pass out after your degree and go to a job, every day there is a crisis. Some days you may not have crisis. Some days you get all the crisis in one day. The ability to handle crisis, if you learn, then you will not have problem. Don't expect life will be very smooth. It's only in a movie. You meet a hero and get married. He will be in a big job. Everything is fine. One day the villain comes. In real life, not that. You may be very good worker. Your colleagues may not be good with you. You may be an excellent daughter-in-law. Mother-in-law may be a little nasty. Okay, these are all part of life. But nobody remains. Please remember, every difficulty is a helium balloon. It is not I have told. This one Dimple Kapadia told. I liked it. Every difficulty in life is a helium balloon. And sometimes it stays with you and then it goes up. She is not a graduate, but the kind of statement she made, I liked it a lot. So please remember, in real life, undefined problems will come. If you are intelligent, you don't have to have your own experience. Okay, I will fail and I will learn. No. I will see somebody has some difficulty, how they passed out, or how they failed. Learn from them, and if you incorporate, you are a very smart person. If that failure affects you and you learn from your own hard work, you are an average person. Even though you fail and if you don't learn, then you are really a dull person. These are the three classes in real life. Learn from others' mistake, learn from your own mistake, don't learn from your own mistake. So try to become number one, learn from others' mistake. And if not possible, learn from your own. Don't ever think of the third degree. Okay, fine.
Miss, as a writer, what writing advice would you like to give?
As a writer, what advice?
Writing advice.
Writing
Tips to give.
Tips. I think other day I told. One is, to be a writer, you should read a lot. Actually, you should read a lot. You should every day make it a habit to read, actually. About at least 50 pages a day. New book, not the same book. Okay? Every day, actually, I did like that when I was a young girl of your age. Every day I used to write 25 lines of my own. Anything, my own. Like I went to the market, I saw these things, I came back, I helped my mother in the kitchen, like a diary. In our time, we had a diary. Today, that concept of diary is not there. So every day I have to write diary, and you can't write a story every day. So 25 lines every day I used to write. For several years, it improved A, my handwriting, B, my communication skills. So every day if you read, that helps you a lot to understand somebody's difficulties. Second thing is, you should be a very sensitive person. If some beggar is on the road, and if you are not sensitive, then you don't even bother. The most sensitive human being ever produced was Buddha, who was a prince, saw someone was suffering and became a monk. Other was Jesus Christ. He saw people are suffering from leprosy, and he gave up his life to give them medicine or to help them. People who are sensitive care for others. But nobody can become a Buddha or a Jesus Christ. That is the highest point. We are all normal people. Care for others, be sensitive, absorb the relevance, and do read every day. That makes you probably a writer. But initially what you write, you should not publish. Just write it and keep for some time. The reason is, when you are 16 or 18, your ideas are not matured. They are not practical. When you grow older and so more difficulties, actually people who see a lot more difficulties can write better because they know what is in somebody else's mind. If you are always, you have always money, you are always successful, then you may not be able to understand people who are not successful, what is their mindset. So you have to undergo all these difficulties to write better. And that is the reason I spend about 5 days in a year just to understand what people feel. 5 days in a year, what I do, in a temple, I wash vessels. I don't do any other work except washing temple vessels, cooking vessels, etc., and cleaning the floor 5 days in a year, because it makes me to understand how a poor man lives on such job and what are their aspirations in life. Once in a year, I travel by local bus for 2 or 3 days. Okay? Otherwise, I will never come to know. I'll be insulated from people because the kind of facility I have, I'll be insulated from the real world. It should not happen. And once in a year, or maybe twice in a year, I go by second class without reservation. Because I should know what life it is for common man. If you don't understand what is the life of a common man, you will never be able to understand their difficulties. It seems Henry Ford's granddaughter, you know that story, I suppose. Henry Ford's granddaughter was in a school and the teacher told, write something about poverty. She did not know what to write because she was Henry Ford's granddaughter. She came back and wrote, there was a couple, they were extremely poor, they had only 5-bedroom house. They had a car which was only 1-year-old model. They had only one cook and one driver. With that poor condition, they continued for some time. There is nothing wrong in her because she has not seen what life is. So I would tell you, you must experience difficulties. You should mix with people, understand what they feel. And this is what life will lead, is not a real life. Understanding someone's life is also equally important. That makes you a better writer.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Ma'am, what is your...
Where are you?
Good afternoon, ma'am. Ma'am, what inspires you to do so much every day? Like, what is your inspiration?
My schedule every day.
Your inspiration?
My inspiration are poor people, actually. My inspiration are poor people because when I look at them, I always say, everybody wants to be born in a rich family. Everybody wants. Because it's a natural desire, no? You get good education, good food, good facility, everything. But there is an invisible line between poor and rich. Why people are born there, we do not know. There is not invisible, there is a visible line. There is somebody's decision that why somebody has to be born in that family, in that line, and why here. And we don't have control on that. So people who are born that side of the line, they may be as talented as you are, but they have less opportunity. And as a human being, I feel, I personally feel, I don't require that kind of a wealth to lead a normal life. Actually, in real life, people have a lot of misunderstandings regarding wealth. You have a lot of money, you live happily. No, money is only a facilitator in life. But you cannot eat golden rice. You eat the same rice. You really don't require the huge wealth to be happy in life. You require a mindset to be happy in life. So I always feel the money which is given to me, I'm a daughter of a college professor, doctor, and granddaughter of a school teacher, which was a middle class life. And I think when the money was given to me, it has given for a real cause in life. The cause is to help people on the other side. And that's the main strength or inspiration for me.
You to start writing books.
When I started writing, as a school girl of your age, I told you I used to write a diary, 25 lines a day. Maybe I was 8 years old, I think. I started writing 8 years old, 9 years old, only 25 lines. By 16 or 17, I used to write good essays, actually. I remember when I was 16, I wrote the India... people who are born after death of Gandhi. I wrote something, the India I have seen, I won't remember the title now, after death of Gandhi, what I see in India, or something like imaginary things. But I never published anything. When I was 20, I think I started publishing short stories, small one. But my first book came when I was 28, I think. 28. But I wrote maximum number of books in the last 20 years. Because with Infosys Foundation, I started going to all corners of India, meeting film actors, politicians, prostitutes, Devdasis, Kamatipura, schools, Army Navy camps, Ladakh region, northeast region. So, and working in hurricane, all these experiences taught me the reality of life, and I could write more. But I started my first book, I think, was published when I was 28, I think.
Ma'am, this question sort of...
Actually, I'm so happy. One boy is asking question. Look at girls, they're so smart. I always believe girls are smarter than boys.
Ma'am, this one question is actually from an older brother, like, as my role is an older brother. How do you tell someone that you're there to help them? And when they ask you questions, how do you help them out?
No, I didn't get. If somebody asks me to help, how do I help?
Yeah, and how do you explain to someone that you're actually there to help them and not to like just stand and watch?
Okay, please sit down. What, you know, in Infosys Foundation, we get 400 calls a day altogether, incoming, outgoing, 400, around 350 emails, and about 200 letters or something. It's huge actually. We get. We have our own process of elimination first. We do that. I will tell you a story before that. Once, I don't know whether I have told this to some lecture or not, I don't remember. Once about 15 years back, I was called as the chief guest to one music program. And normally I go a little early than the schedule because I don't like to go late. It's a bad manners. Even today I think 5 minutes I was earlier than the schedule because I don't like to go late. So I went that day 15 minutes early. I sat at the corner at the back, and there were hardly few people because I was quite early. 2 women, well-off women, with their diamond earrings and silk sari and or sitting and talking, and they were making remarks. My daughter is very dull. The second one told, how she will get married, I'm worried. I said, no, she should take up a job, then the boy is like a girl who is employed. So she said, yes, I was thinking, she said, okay, why can't she become a teacher? Then she told, no, I sent her to school and they said she's not capable, sent her back. Then she said, oh, tell her to do some social work. Then the other lady said, is it that easy? Yeah, it's very easy. You have not seen Sudha Murthy. Every day she comes in the paper. Her husband has earned money. She doesn't have brain. So, that's okay. That's okay. That's what they think. So she writes a check. Every day she comes in the paper. So your daughter can become a social worker like her. I said, okay, now let me talk, because there's something connected to me. So I tapped their shoulders and said, have you seen Sudha Murthy? Have you met her? Oh, of course we met her. They said, when did you meet her last? Today morning. I said, same Narayan Murthy's wife? They said, yes. I said, I am Sudha Murthy. No, that lady looks at me and tells, oh, you have changed so much from morning to evening. I told her, no, I want to clarify certain things with you. That's the reason I have talked to you. Don't ever look down upon teaching job. A teacher is the most respected job I ever think compared to any job, because they are creating characters, and that's the greatest thing. Look at software people. What do we create? Only programs. Whereas a teacher creates that many characters. Don't ever look down upon that. I said, if a doctor makes a mistake, the patient will go 6 feet below the ground. If a magistrate makes a mistake, the person will be hung 6 feet above the ground. If a teacher makes a mistake, the entire batch is wiped out. And it is such a sacred job. Don't ever look down upon that. Coming to social work. I said, just because one has money, one won't become social worker. One can be a donor. A person sits in front of me in 10 minutes, I should measure whether he or she is eligible for the help what you give. It is only a lip sympathy we talk. If I am giving money, how much I should give and when I have to stop. That means I have to assess a person sitting in front of me in 10 minutes. It's not like 10 days or something time I don't have, because I will have 17 appointments a day. So when a person comes to meet us and asking money, before that we do homework. For what they are asking, I have a loan of 50,000, we don't give. I'm building a mandir, church or a masjid, we don't give. I'm a Brahmin. I said it is not a criteria to be in life. You belong to one other community. I'm a Kannadiga, very good, but we don't give any money. I belong to Congress or BJP, we don't give any money to such. So we go on eliminating first. Then it comes to hardcore. In that, if we help a person, we don't do any deep sympathy. Oh, I'm there with you. Such things we don't talk. We give, we don't give. If we give, with the condition we give. If we don't give, there is nothing to give. Then, if we want to give, we go on a simple principle. If I help for a project, is it going to help lots of poor people in that area? Bahujana hitaya, bahujana sukhaya. If I help, people ask us, I got an admission in Harvard, will you help us? I said no. In the same money, I rather give 20 children who are doing engineering. Because one fellow going to Harvard doesn't make any difference to me. But I rather make 20 engineers who are more useful to their families and the country. So, larger effect or impact on a larger people is always our criteria. And that's the way that is the way we go on assessing things. Then before that we do a lot of homework. Suppose I want to give something to a hospital. Before that we say, who are the people, who are the trustees, how are the trustees, are they corrupt, who are the beneficiaries, okay? All the studies we do, it is like a horoscope kind of study we do, and then we give. So, in our work, if I have 100 hours, I almost spend 70 to 75 hours on investigation and 25 hours only on execution. Like writing a check takes 2 minutes actually. Then after giving the check, then we have a milestone. First year how they did, second year how they did, third year how they did. So we want all the reports. Then we send a third party inspection how work they have done. So it's quite a complicated, but we do a lot of work before we give money.
Arsh.
Okay, tell me.
I've read a few of your books and I want to ask the question if they are really based on your life and they have a real meaning.
Which book you have read?
I've read The Secret of the Lost Temple, I think.
Okay, I'll tell a story about it. I know the real things I will tell you. There are some books which are 100% real or 99% real. 1% I change the name, make the situation different. Wise and otherwise, the day I stopped drinking milk, how I taught my grandmother to read, they're all real. The old man and his God, they're all real stories. For children, grandma's bags of stories, magic drum, the bird with the golden wings, they're all imaginary. Whereas this book, the Magic of the Lost Temple, is 50%. I have a granddaughter by the name Anushka, and she is 4 years old. I'm assuming when she is 10, she will be like what I have written there. And the grandmother in that is me. Okay, that is me. And that was my granddaughter. And I lived in a village, but now I live in Bangalore. I assumed I go back and live in my village, and Anushka comes from Bangalore. How I will interact with her. They're all real, but imagination is I'm going to village. The pure imagination in that story is 3. The Somanaka temple, there are 3 temples, right? That's all imagination. 50% is truth, 50% is imagination. That's for Nooni I wrote, and even there I call her a Nooni in that. Yeah. Thank you for this.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Where are you, beta? Huh?
Yes, miss. Miss, I would like to ask you, would you like to share with us some of your experience with Infosys?
Which one? I have written that in one of my books, but which one you call?
I really don't know the name. Can you just tell anyone which you like?
It's hard to tell, but I can tell you, starting Infosys with a 10,000 rupees journey, I never ever thought or dreamt we'll become famous, rich, nothing I dreamt. We took it as an adventure and we started. The journey was more beautiful than the results. We did, of course, we became famous, we got money, etc. But the journey itself, without expecting anything, that journey itself was beautiful. And I think in one of my books I have written that I will do it is one lesson I remember. Other one is mother's advice. Maybe my mother told me in life where to spend, where not to spend. That's one another. I suppose that's all I remember. But the journey of Infosys itself was a beautiful journey where, we had very little money, but we had a lot of confidence because we never ran after money. Please remember, if you ran after money, money runs away from you. If you run after good work, money comes behind you. And that's what Infosys is, that we ran after a good value system. And money came. But if you wanted to make, we never thought of making big money, etc. My idea when we started Infosys was, I want to have a scooter and a 2-bedroom apartment. That's all my aim was there at that time. I never aimed money in my life at all, any moment of time, because money never fascinated me. It is the book which fascinated me. It is the knowledge which fascinated me. It is the children who they fascinated me. So my fascinations were so different. So money never fascinated me. So the journey of Infosys was more of our value system, how we ran, and with absolutely no money and absolutely nothing, we felt bad also. I used to drive the car. Later we had a car. I was a driver for a long time to drop everybody, pick up everyone. Then we all stayed in one house. Rohini Nilekani, myself, and Sudha Gopalakrishnan. We used to cook. I never used to cook. They used to cook, but I used to take the food. So we lived like a joint family for some time. And my children were looked after by Rohini Nilekani. They will not do office work, whereas I will do my office work. She will do other work. As I used to be, if programmer is on leave, I will go and do programming. After all, it was a journey of our 5 fundamental founders lived in a joint family, or different language, different community, different state, lived like one family, and lived with a value system. And that's what I can call our journey.
Can we open the questions to the parents, please? Just raise your hand and I'll...
Because last time I could not answer students in a crossword. I was feeling very bad. It was already 9:30. So I thought this time let me talk to children themselves. Okay.
Ma'am, it's a pleasure to hear you today.
Pardon?
You ask questions,
Yes.
Ma'am, it's a pleasure to hear you today. And thanks, PTA, for organizing this. I really appreciate the qualities you said, that you wash vessels once in a year and do those kind of things to know what is happening. I would like to know, or your suggestions on for the school kids, what they can do in a year to keep themselves on the ground and be more aware about what is happening in the world.
You should do that, not they.
Yeah, I agree.
See, what happens, suppose you want your children should be aware of the reality, right? Okay, this is a way, please sit down, please sit down. This is a subjective way of telling, but how I did, I can tell you. My child came and told me, Amma, in our school there is a birthday party. I think there's a birthday party in a big way, I suppose nowadays. There's a birthday party, my friend's house, they take us to some 5-star restaurant. Some well-off parents can take. There's nothing wrong, because everybody has their way of doing birthdays. There is nothing, I will comment on that, going to 5-star hotel is less or not good or nothing of that sort. That is their parents' wish. He went once, I think his classmate's birthday was there, and my child, Rohan, my son, went to birthday party, came and said, Amma, it was so good, and my birthday, I want to take. I said, no, Bill, you can't take. He said, why? I said, Rohan, please remember, how much it will cost? Let us talk about it. Each child, let us take 1,000 rupees. You call about 50 people, your class. How much it costs? 50 into 1,000 is how much? 50,000 rupees. He said, Rohan, please remember. I told there was a person who used to come and drive our car. I said, he has 2 children. They are as bright as you are. Okay? Their school fees are probably in those days 10,000. If you give 20,000 to them, they can go to a better school, beta. For your birthday, I am not denying you should not do, etc. I will buy samosa. Okay? I will buy samosa and rasna packet. Or nimbu sharbat, something there. No, mango drink was there. What is that? Maza, not maza. Fruity. Yeah. Fruity in those days. I am talking about 25 years back. So I will spend for 50 children plus our driver's children, everyone, altogether this much money. More than that, I think you should not spend, because what you are doing is wrong according to me. Those 2 children will not go to school, whereas you spend 50,000. And he didn't like it. What I said, he didn't like it. He said, oh, you always give me hishob, that means you always give me plus minus, always a balance sheet. I said, think over it, I will give you 3 days time. And after 3 days, he came back and said, okay, I agree, but along with samosa, you should give us 1 gulab jamun or something. I said, fine. Okay? So I told, and in front of him, I gave 10,000 to our driver's children in front, through his hand. I said, Bill, from your account, there is a 50,000 rupees. Out of that, this is the way you have spent. This much money is left, and this you should give it to some good cause. And I used to take my children, when I wash vessels, I used to take my children to wipe them. You have to take your children. Fortunately, I had a job like this, where I go to Lambani tribal area, etc. I used to take my children. Come with me. I can show you they are very good children there. They don't have an opportunity. Is it not your duty? So I used to tell me, you make me so guilty, Amma, to spend any money.